it going, peeps? Welcome back to the channel. So it's been a while since there's been a tank review on this channel. It's been over 2 years. So today we're back with a tank review, and today it is the Controcarro 1 Mark II, the Tier 9 Italian TD. So this line was recently introduced to the game, and it does feature the reserve shot mechanic. So it's an auto reloader where you're not meant to be shooting your last shot, but you have the option to shoot it in certain scenarios. The reason why you're not meant to shoot your last shot is because the DPM is very, very bad, and your reload for that particular shell takes about 21 seconds. So the strengths of this tank are the auto reloading mechanism, the reserve shell. It is fairly mobile as well as a TD. It's an assault TD, so you're really one of those tanks that's there to break lines. You do have a semi-traversable turret as well, which is pretty handy in certain situations. The turret traverse does rotate 45 degrees on each side. And we're going to quickly talk about the armor as well, because the armor on this tank is actually fairly decent for a TD. So this is the tank and armor inspector, and this is from the viewpoint of a Leo 1. And as you can see, there's a lot of red on that tank, so some pretty good and effective armor there in the front. There are weaknesses in the turret, as you can see here. We've got 253mm, 247mm of armor. The further you go down towards the hull, the more your chances of actually penning it. So it does have some weak spots on the turret. You can see some spots here in the green here as well. You've got a 100% chance of penning that. It's very, very hard though, because it is very circular in the front, unlike the Tier 10. But yeah, you can see some of the weak spots there. Obviously as well, you've also got your lower front plate, which is 203mm of armor, and it's pretty consistent throughout. It's not rounded. Then when you move up to the top plate, you've got more armor, red, 259mm, 260 in places. So that front plate actually gets weaker, so for higher vehicles where they might be able to aim down on your front plate, they will be able to pen that a lot more easier and a lot more reliable. You do have weak spots here in the cupola. This cupola is actually at the back of the turret. Now what you can do to negate the effect of people sniping is you can point your gun up if you're playing the tank pointed to the left hand side, and you can block those shots. As we look to the sides of the tank, it's a very long vehicle, and it's very, very weak on the side, and it's got very, very bad traverse. You can traverse the turret, but parts of the turret on the side, from the side profile, you will pen it. You can see it's all green here. Most tanks will pen that, and it is a bit of an issue because it's such a long vehicle. It's like I said, you can find yourself in situations where if you're beside any kind of hard cover, you're going to have issues. So because of the weak sides, I would advise that you don't try and side scrape in this vehicle. Also because you've got a semi-traversable turret, you're going to find parts of the back of the tank are going to be sticking out and susceptible to getting pens. What you want to do in this tank is try and keep the back of the tank behind the turret at all times. So I want to quickly talk about equipment and consumables and provisions. So for my equipment, I've gone with the improved vents. So because it's an auto reloader, you do have the vents option as opposed to rammer. With calibrated shells, you can get up to 272mm of pen, but with 259 base and 326 base on your heat, that's enough penetration for the gun. Other talking points really are around the vitality. You can go for extra armor, or you can go for extra hit points. I'll go for extra armor. This one here, I go for improved control. So you have got very bad traverse, 28.09 degrees. So I always go improved control. This one here, I just go refined gun. The gun is very similar to the Chimera. The gun handling is alright on it, but you can improve it with the refined gun. And there's no real other talking points other than that. We're going to quickly talk about provisions. So I go double food and then improved fuel. Bit of a no-brainer. Usually I would put a protective kit on a tank, but I haven't noticed any kind of issues with crew or fire. So that's the one really good thing about this tank. In terms of the consumables then, because it is an auto reloader, you don't have the option of adrenaline, so I just go with the multi-purpose restoration pack and the general repair pack as well. And then in the middle then I just go with the speed booster, the engine power boost. So without further ado, I've got 2 games today in the tank. Both are Ace Mastery games. One is a win and the other is a bit of a heartbreaker. So I hope you enjoy. So the first game today is on Hellas. It's a game of encounter. Just looking at the matchup, there are 2 mediums on either side, but the red team, instead of having 2 tier 10 mediums, they have a tier 9 instead of tier 10. That's the one thing about Matchmaker that I don't really like. I know people bitch about Matchmaker. That's my big gripe with Matchmaker. So we spawn on the northeast side, and what I'm thinking here is that the heavies are probably going to go to the right hand side here. I'm going to go up into the middle because I'm a good assault TD. I want to be able to have shots on either side, so I'm going to locate into the middle here just to see if I can spot up any tanks and put shots in any tank. So you can see mobility wise it's not the worst. Power to weight ratio is a little bit slow. You can see it's going down to 12 kilometers just getting up the hill here, so the power to weight ratio is a little bit tough. You can see from the game here we haven't spotted many reds, but we have spotted one of their mediums and they've gone to the med side. Now I do get spotted up here by a Conqueror who's gone into the ditch. I want to be very, very careful. Obviously I don't want to give them any shots, so I'm just going to see if he's going to peek. And I'm angling my tank to point my armor towards them. I do take a shot there, but we do bounce it, and there are shots on the E100 who's gone in more to the right hand side. So I'm going to back off. They can obviously see where I am. The Conqueror is making a push. He's just cresting the top of this ditch here, obviously putting shots in the E100, so I'm backing up. In a situation like that, distance is always your friend. The more distance they have between you and them, the better it is for you. So the Conqueror is putting shots in. We do spot up the 268 who's also there. The Conqueror's making a push. We do put a shot in on him. So because I've got an auto reloader, I can hold them back. But what I want to do is, because your DPM is best when you're only shooting the first shot, so I'm trying to get a reload, but I do have to fire my second shot. Now here's the predicament that I'm in. Do I fire that last shot? Because the DPM is really bad and the reload takes really long, I decide to hold the last shot. And this is the interesting thing about the reserve shell. So the E100, he is taking on 2 tanks here. I have to help him out. The 2 reds have both taken shots, but the E100 is bleeding hit points. So I'm going to move in here. I obviously want to try and put shots in on the Conqueror. You can see from the gun it's alright. It's 450 alpha, but I'm doing 435. I don't fire the second shot there. Obviously I want to try and reload that first shot, because the DPM is with that shot. E100's doing okay here. He is holding back 2 tanks. So just going to see here if we can get any shots on the 268 or the Conqueror. It'd be nice to take out this Conch, maybe with a HE shot, even with heat. The 268 does get taken out. So I just want to try and take out this Conch. And we smack him there with HE and we finish him off. So the threat on the right hand side is taken care of. Going back here to see how our mediums are faring, and a lot of them have lost hit points. We have spotted up the 4005 and the T54E1 who's still alive, so we're going to push here. It's important that I try and put shots in here to try and support the team, try and keep this KPZ-70 alive. So obviously I'm focusing the 4005. KPZ does get taken out. There's T54E1, put a shot in on him, 455. We track him in place, put the second shot in, and this is where I'm considering, do I take the shot? And I do take the shot, and we take him out. Now I'm on a long reload, 21 seconds. The best thing about this tank is your ability for burst damage. So my concern here is I want to reload the clip. It is 2-2. It is a very, very close game. I'm trying to get this E100 into the game. Because I need to leech his hit points. I need to use him as a player, so I'm trying to get him to be more active in the game. You can see from the map he is pushing in through the middle here. I have reloaded 2 shots, so my focus here really is the FE 4005. I want to take out that gun first. I know there is a Waffen as well who's also dangerous, but the 4005 and the burst potential of that tank, I want to try and focus him. The E100 hasn't got many hit points, so I do need to do more to try and help the tank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move in here to the center. Now we have spotted up the Waffen who's flanked in around on the far side. We can see he's got all his hit points, but I do come across the FE 4005. He misses the first shot. Put the first shot in, 420. I get caught on fire there, but we do take out the FE, so good play there. Now I need to cover my E100, but the E100 does get taken out. So it's just me and the Waffen, full hit points on the Waffen, and this is a bit tricky. What I want to do is I want to approach him and make sure that I've got all 3 shots in the clip. The Waffen makes a push, I don't know why, but I want to reload all my shells, so I wait for the reload to happen. The Waffen for some reason goes out into the open. We get a massive shot there for 774 with HE. The second shot goes in for 209, and this is where I take a bit of a risk. We do shoot the last shot, and we do take him out for 713 damage. It's not a bad game, 4.7k damage. The result screen, we do get the Ace Mastery, we get the Top Gun, we get the High Caliber as well. We damaged 4 tanks, and we took out 4 tanks as well. So very well played by the E100 there, who had a very important role within that game. Some of the final numbers of the tank. And we're on to our second and final game. This is a game on Yukon. It is an encounter game, and it did say this is a heartbreaker, and boy is it a heartbreaker. So we spawned on the southeast side. Again, I'm going to try and support our medium allies here. So I'm going to push into the left hand side here. I can see that the mediums are also pushing in where they would usually expect them to be. We've also got other tanks who are supporting the T-30 and the Chieftain Mark 6. We've got an Object and a Progetto 65 as our mediums, the eyes of the team. So we're going to make our way to the left hand side here. We're going to push in around the valley or push up, but we have spotted up one of the reds. It's the Progetto 65. You can see the Chieftain has been spotted there as well. So they've got tanks who are coming in through the middle. There's the Progetto. Put a bad shot there because it doesn't connect, but that's more me. I didn't let the dispersion of the balloon narrow in. We've also spotted up a Object 777, which is an important tank to take out. That's pretty strong, heavy tank. The rest of their team here seem to be in the middle. So instead of focusing on the Object 777, I'm going to put shots in on any supporting enemy reds. So there's the Progetto, put a shot in on him. Now that one's a low roll, 450 alpha, and I'm only getting 389. Our team is still struggling to take out this Object 777, who's holding the lines very well here. We have spotted up a lot more of the reds here. Here's a Conk at the back. Put a shot in on him. Again, another low roll. You get 480. There's a better roll that time. I'm opting not to shoot that last shot. I don't want to kill the DPM of this tank, so I'm going to reload that second and first shot. Coming in around here now, you can see that the team has split up. There's a Motion and some other mediums in the middle, whereas we're still facing some of the teams in their spawn. You see there's 3 tanks over there. I'm going to stick with the T-30 and the Chieftain. Here's a 4005 who peeks. Put a shot in on him, we get a high roll. We do manage to take him out, but we also do lose the T-30. Now it's very close in terms of a result here. I still haven't fired my last shot, so I'm on good terms with the tank, keeping that reserve shell. We can see there's a Tortoise up here now. It's important to take him out, so I'm going to accompany the Chieftain Mark 6, who's had a very good game so far. I'm playing second in line. Now you can see from the tank, the mobility wise, I'm able to keep up with him, which is pretty good. We really do need to take out this Tortoise who's holding this side now. Just going to push on up. I know that Chieftain's missed his shot. I am aiming for the weak spot, so we put one shot in. Chieftain also gets a shot. Put another shot in. And we're going to opt to shoot this last shot, take out the Tortoise, which I think was a good decision. Chieftain is still with me, but I'm on a long reload now. Unfortunately, we've lost another teammate, so it's 2 versus 3 at this point in time. I know there's a Motion somewhere, and I know he's pretty much full hit points. Just about reloaded the last shot there. Asking the Chieftain to wait because I don't want him to separate from me. So I want him to stay close to me. I've got my rear pointing at the Motion. He easily gets a shot in, so I take a first shot at damage. And this is where we also spot up the Progetto, who's a 1-shot, and there's another Progetto who's going in around, who's got maybe half their hit points left. We do take out one of the Progettos, so very good. We're bringing it back to 2-2. Now I have a sneaking suspicion the motion is coming in and around behind us, so I'm letting the chieftain know where I'm planning on going on the map to try and get some communication going. We do spot up the motion, do put a shot in on him, trying to get a second shot. We don't get that one, we bounce and we do take a shot from the Progetto. So their team is split up, so this is kind of advantageous. If we stick together, this is advantageous for us. We can focus one of them out. Progetto still has a number of hit points on their health. And I suspect the motion is probably going to turn around and come back the way we are. But this is where the chieftain separates from me. And as predicted, there's the motion. So he's going to come up. Do bounce a shot. We do put a shot in on him, so it's all good. Nice trade. Trying to look for that second shot. We're up to 4k in damage. Keeping an eye on the chieftain to see how he's doing with the Progetto 65. I don't like his odds. He's taking a shot from the Progetto. He's now a one shot. So I need to take as many hit points off this motion as soon as possible. And as predicted, we missed that shot. And now we've got a tricky medium to deal with. And the motion with most of our hit points. So I know that the Progetto is probably going to flank in around. That's what I would do. So I'm going to back off. Like I said in the last game, distance is your friend. If he's going to charge me here, I want to be able to have 2 and put 2 into him. So I'm backing off slowly. You can see the reverse speed, its top speed is 12 kilometers an hour. The motion does keep me proxy spotted, which is really unfortunate. Here comes the Progetto. We put a shot in on him. He's now a one shot. Waiting to see if he peeks here. He does peek, but that carcass is still there, and I stupidly take that second shot. Motion is making a push. I get a bounce, but I also take damage there as well. Now I don't want to shoot that last shot, and this is the predicament I'm in. I want to try and take out the Progetto, so I do take out the Progetto. I think it was a good decision, but now I'm on a really, really long reload, and this is where I make a bit of a mistake. I decide to brawl with the motion. What I want to try and do here is get all my shots in my clip and try and bounce as much as possible. The only problem is the motion is a very, very tall tank. He's going to be shooting down on top of the ceiling, the ceiling on my turret, which is a little bit risky. We've reloaded the second shot. I think we've got enough if we reload all 3 to take him out. So I've taken a little bit of damage. I bounced his shot, but every time I bump him as well, I'm losing damage. So I put one shot in. Gonna try and get the second one in, and we get taken out. He has 442 hit points left, and we were just about to get our max roll if we had got the last shot off. So bit of a heartbreaker. 5.4k damage. We bounced 2.3k. We destroyed 3, damage 6, ace mastery, 132,000 credits. A good game from the Chief there, but we just didn't manage to pull it off. I think the motion had way too many hit points in the end, and yeah, it's tough to lose those kind of games. So that is the Controcarro 1 Mk2. Very, very strong TD at tier 9, and it's well worth getting. I definitely recommend going down the line. Obviously the tanks for me get a little bit more interesting at tier 9 and tier 10. Very, very strong tanks. The tier 8 is also very strong as well, but like I said, I was playing that with the auto reloader instead of the 120mm gun. So I need to go back and play that tank and put the better gun on it and see how I do. Yeah, thanks for watching if you're still here, and hopefully I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.